The baby cried. Scarlett Hayes pressed her daughter closer as the apartment door slammed shut behind them. Rain poured down on Oakwood Avenue, washing away her last hope of shelter. "Please don't cry, Aurora," she whispered to her 3-month-old daughter. The infant's wails echoed through the empty street as Scarlett's bare feet splashed through puddles. Her torn sweater offered little protection against the November storm. 24 years old. That's all she was. And already her world had crumbled. Marcus had seemed so different when they met at the diner where she worked. Charming, protective, promising her a better life. The bruises on her ribs told a different story now. "We're gonna be okay, baby girl," Scarlett lied softly. Her phone was dead. Her purse empty except for $17 and a few coins. The Cedar Falls Community Center was 3 blocks away, but they closed at midnight. She stumbled forward. Her bare feet were numb from the cold pavement. Aurora's cries grew weaker, a sound that terrified Scarlett more than Marcus's rage ever had. That's when she saw him. A man stepped out of the luxury sedan parked outside Morrison's fine dining. Expensive suit, silver hair, probably in his 40s. He was fumbling with his keys when Aurora's cry pierced the night air. Harrison Blake stopped walking. The rain soaked through his $1,000 jacket as he turned toward the sound. What he saw made his heart clench. A young woman in torn clothes, holding a baby, both of them shivering in the storm. "Miss," he called out, his voice gentle but concerned. "Are you all right?" Scarlett froze. Men who looked like him. Men with money and power. They usually looked right through people like her. She'd learned that working double shifts at Murphy's Diner, watching wealthy customers treat her like she was invisible. "I'm fine," she lied, backing away slightly. Trust didn't come easy anymore. Harrison saw the fear in her eyes. It reminded him of something. Someone. He slowly removed his jacket, ignoring the rain that immediately soaked his white shirt. "Here," he said, holding it out. "Take this. You and your baby need to get warm." "I can't." Scarlett started to protest, but Aurora's tiny body was trembling against her chest. "My name's Harrison Blake," he said, keeping his distance so she wouldn't feel trapped. "I own the construction company downtown. Blake and Associates. I'm not going to hurt you." Something in his voice. Something genuine and broken that made Scarlett look at him differently. She'd become an expert at reading people's intentions. Survival had taught her that. "Scarlett," she whispered, accepting the jacket. It was warm and smelled like expensive cologne. "This is Aurora." Harrison's breath caught. Aurora. Just like. "How old is she?" he asked, his voice suddenly thick with emotion. 3 months. Harrison closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, there were tears mixing with the rain on his cheeks. "Listen, Scarlett. I know a place. The Riverside Shelter on Elm Street. The director, Patricia Kowalski, she's a good friend of mine. They'll take care of you both tonight." "They're probably full," Scarlett said, exhaustion weighing down her words. "Places like that always are." "Not for Patricia. She owes me a few favors." Harrison pulled out his phone. "Pat. It's Harrison. I need a room tonight." "Yes, I know it's late. Please." Scarlett watched this stranger advocate for her. For them. It didn't make sense. People didn't just help anymore. Not without wanting something in return. 20 minutes later, they sat in Harrison's warm car outside the Riverside Shelter. Aurora had finally stopped crying, lulled by the warmth and her mother's steady heartbeat. "Why?" Scarlett asked as Harrison prepared to walk them inside. Harrison was quiet for a long moment. Then he reached into his wallet and pulled out a faded photograph. A young woman with dark hair holding a baby girl. "This is my daughter, Rebecca," he said softly. "And my granddaughter, Aurora." Scarlett's eyes widened. "Your granddaughter's name was Aurora. She'd be about your baby's age now." Harrison's voice cracked. "Rebecca was 19 when she had her. I was angry, disappointed. I said terrible things about her boyfriend, about her choices. I told her she wasn't welcome in my house until she got her act together. The rain drummed against the car windows as Harrison continued. 3 months ago, Rebecca called me. She was scared, broke, living with a man who hurt her. She wanted to come home. Wanted help. I was in the middle of a business meeting. I told her I'd call her back. Scarlett felt her heart breaking for this man she'd just met. I never got the chance, Harrison whispered. Car accident 2 days later. Both of them. Gone. The last thing my daughter knew was that her father was too busy to help her when she needed him most. Now Scarlett understood. That's why you stopped. When I heard your baby cry. When you said her name was Aurora. Harrison wiped his eyes. I can't bring my girls back. But maybe I can do right by you. Inside the shelter. Patricia Kowalski was a warm woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. She set Scarlett and Aurora up in a private room with clean clothes, formula, and diapers. Harrison's a good man, Patricia told Scarlett as they prepared bottles for Aurora. Lost his family recently. He's been donating to us ever since. Like he's trying to make up for something. Over the next few weeks, Harrison visited regularly. He brought clothes for Aurora. Toys, blankets, everything a baby needed. He helped Scarlett find a job at his company's office. Filing, answering phones, nothing fancy but steady pay with benefits. At first, the other office workers whispered. They wondered why the boss was helping some girl from the shelter. But Scarlett's quiet determination and gentle nature soon won them over. She arrived early, stayed late, and never complained about the simple tasks. You're different from what I expected, said Janet Murphy, the office manager, during Scarlett's second week. Harrison told us you needed a fresh start. We all have stories, honey. What matters is what you do with your second chance. Scarlett learned that Harrison had a reputation. He'd helped others before. A veteran struggling with addiction, a teenage mother finishing high school, an elderly man who couldn't afford his medications. But Patricia had mentioned he'd never been this involved, this personally invested. You don't have to do all this, Scarlett told him one afternoon as they watched Aurora sleep in her new crib. Yes, I do, Harrison replied. Rebecca would want me to. And Aurora. She deserves to know that good men exist in this world. During quiet moments at work, Scarlett would catch Harrison staring out his office window, lost in thought. She began to understand that helping her was healing something broken inside him. Every smile Aurora gave him, every small milestone she reached, seemed to ease the pain in his eyes just a little more. 3 months later, Scarlett had her own apartment. A small place, but clean and safe. Harrison had co-signed the lease and helped her furnish it. He visited every Sunday, bringing groceries and playing with Aurora. She's getting so big, he marveled, watching 6-month-old Aurora grab at his fingers. Harrison, Scarlett said carefully, I need to ask you something. When you first saw us that night, did you really just happen to be there? Outside that restaurant? Harrison smiled sadly. I'd been driving around for hours. It was Rebecca's birthday. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the places I should have taken her, all the conversations we should have had. Morrison's was her favorite restaurant when she was little. I used to take her there for special occasions. So you were visiting her memory? In a way, yes. And then I heard Aurora crying, and it was like Rebecca was telling me to pay attention, to not miss another chance to do the right thing. 1 year later, Aurora took her first steps in Harrison's backyard during their Sunday barbecue. Scarlett had invited Patricia, some co-workers, and neighbors, people who had become their chosen family. The transformation was remarkable. Harrison's house, once empty and echoing with loneliness, now filled with laughter every weekend. He'd converted his spare bedroom into a nursery for Aurora's visits, complete with a rocking chair where he'd read her bedtime stories about brave princesses and kind dragons. Scarlett had blossomed too. The scared, broken girl from that rainy night was gone, replaced by a confident young woman who spoke up in meetings and had even suggested improvements to the office filing system. Her colleagues respected her work ethic and genuine kindness. But the most beautiful change was in Aurora herself. She'd grown from a frightened, crying infant into a joyful toddler who squealed with delight whenever she saw Harrison's car pull into the driveway. To her, he wasn't just Harrison. He was Grandpa Harry, the man who taught her to clap her hands and made funny faces that sent her into fits of giggles. "Look at her go." Patricia laughed as Aurora toddled toward Harrison's outstretched arms. "She's going to be trouble," Scarlett said, but her smile was radiant. Harrison caught Aurora as she fell into his arms, giggling. "The best kind of trouble," he said, looking at Scarlett with eyes full of gratitude. "Just like her mama." That evening, after everyone had gone home, Scarlett found Harrison sitting quietly on the porch swing, holding Aurora as she slept. "You know what I realized today?" Scarlett said, settling beside them. "What's that?" "Aurora saved us both that night. She brought us together when we both needed saving." Harrison nodded, pressing a gentle kiss to the baby's forehead. "My Rebecca would have loved you both so much." "She did love us," Scarlett said softly. "She sent you to us." As the sun set over Cedar Falls, three unlikely souls sat together on that porch swing. A young mother who learned to trust again, a baby who would grow up knowing unconditional love, and a grandfather who discovered that redemption sometimes comes in the smallest packages. Sometimes the worst nights lead to the most beautiful mornings. And sometimes, when you think you've lost everything, that's exactly when everything you need finds you.